And just like that, we are back from our lunch break. We're all fully fed and hydrated. And we're back here with a full afternoon of racing here at Knockhill Racing Circuit for the final time in 2022. It's a slightly emotional moment when I say that, but it is David Christie here in the commentary box, and as usual today, joining me Andy Alston. And Andy, I've got to say, I've really enjoyed this morning. I think from now on it's going to be a two course affair here.
Yeah, it's been really good action, hasn't it? You know, and the great thing about it is this is the moment of the meeting where everything's going to be decided. And this is where it's going to be full of drama. So we're starting off, of course, with our Mini Cooper Ace Cup and our Mini Cooper Cup. So the cars you can just see at the front of your shot here are our Mini Cooper Ace Cup cars, led on the left-hand side by Jamie Blake, who took the win in the opener ahead of the number 5, Andrew Lamont. Just further back are the Mini Cooper Cups. Now, of course, Neil Hose won a dramatic opener there, ahead of Michael Weddle, with Chad Little third, which has big ramifications in this championship battle in the Mini Cooper Cup category as well.
Yeah, that's all to play for this afternoon. 2 races coming up for these cars this afternoon. 2 races for the Mini Coopers. This is the last race for the R53s. We get a third race for the Mini Coopers towards the end of the day. That will be on again at 3:45. Normally, it's the last one, but it's going to be the Legends that are the last cars out. So the cars making their way round. So let's have a look then at the grids for race 2 for the minis then, the R53s. Jamie Blake ahead of Andrew Lamont. You've got Chris Watt in third place with Craig Blake. Now, I don't see Craig Blake on the grid there, so he will not be taking part in this race. Moving on to the Mini Cooper Cup then, Neil Hose, as we said, ahead of Michael Weddle, and Michael will be happy with that outcome. He won't care about Neil Hose taking the win. Chad Little is going to be on row 2 alongside Daniel Patterson. Row 3 is going to be Jack Irvine and Gordon Long. Row 4 is going to be Ryan Smith and Ewan Robertson. Row 5 of the Mini Coopers is going to be Finn Match and David Taylor, who's had a really good outing there. Stephen Morrison on row 6 with Chris Coburn and Nick Ormiston at the back of the Mini Coopers. And again, the reason that they are slightly different is because we've got the R53s at the front and we've got the Mini Cooper Cup at the back. So they've had their grid walk today. They're going to go round for their their green flag lap here. What do we dare predict or have a look into the future about this race here? Because with so much on the line, for me, Michael Weddle, he's comfortable right now. Not too comfortable, but he doesn't need to make any wild moves. Whereas Chad Little, I think, has it all to do today, or all to do in this race here.
Yeah, the last couple of laps in the opener definitely went against Chad Little, must be said, because he was in a very strong position at one point. But you know, as we know time and time again in this championship, you know, positions can be won and lost very, very quickly. So yeah, I think Michael will be fairly happy with the opener, considering he didn't manage to get away cleanly and fell down the order a little bit, made his way back through the field, and puts himself on the front row of the grid for this one. So I think he will be in a strong position. He did mention, of course, the track was quite damp at that point, so he struggled to really get the power down. Not going to have that issue this time round. The track is much, much drier here this afternoon. However, it does look a little bit overcast, so it'll be interesting to consider whether or not the weather is going to be a factor that we need to bear in mind as the event unfolds, Dave.
Yeah, for sure. And just having a quick look at the latest weather forecast here as I turn into Heather from the weather for a couple of hours here. It's due to start raining any moment. According to the weather forecast there, and you can see the clouds moving in, but it does look rather bright here, so fingers crossed we're absolutely fine for just now. Either way, as you mentioned, it's still completely different. It's still night and day compared to the track conditions that they had earlier on, those damp, greasy, really, really cold conditions earlier on. It is quite mild. There is a lot of wind blowing through in a what I would imagine is a west to east direction here. So the cars making their way around on the green flag lap, and we are getting ready to go racing here. So final thoughts then ahead of this this race here, and I mean it really is all to do. We still have a third race, but I would imagine Michael Weddle would be quite happy to get this done and dusted right now.
Yeah, I make it Weddle's got an 11-point lead at the top, ahead of Chad Little, by my very amateur maths.
Spreadsheet.
So I would urge you to double check that. But
spreadsheet, some fingers and toes, and a slide rule.
But I reckon if Weddle can get away cleanly here, it's going to really double the pressure on Chad Little. We know how quick Chad is, but it's going to be difficult, I think, Weddle's so good at controlling the race from the front of the pack. The defensive side of his game we mentioned earlier on this morning, is very, very strong. So it's going to be interesting. I thought I have to give a shout out again to the number 18 car, Daniel Patterson. I thought he had a very strong race in that opener, Dave, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he gets on in this second race in a few moments' time.
Yep, Dan Patterson down in P8, P5 I think it is in the Mini Coopers, but he's in the number 18 car, so you'll see him there as well. The safety car will pull off very shortly, unless they're going to do another sighting lap. I believe that is the case then, so the safety car is going to take them round and then will pull off when they get up to the grids here. So you can see all of the cars making their way around here, and again, so important to get heat into these tyres here, these Yokohama tyres. It's very, very important for them to be able to really push as hard as they can at such an early stage in the race as well. But these cars are proper little race cars. It's often seen as a very expensive package to take part in because of how physical the action is. But this is, probably one of the stepping stones up to the likes of the JCW National Championship that they have throughout the rest of the UK. We've got Hannah Chapman that's away down south. You've got our very own Joe Tanner, Rennet Designs, that's based up here at Knockhill doing helmets. He races down there, has been wildly successful this year. But we also have to say a big shout out to son of one of the employees here at Knockhill, Ronan Pearson, who has just been devastatingly fast in the Mini Championship this year. So it's great to see that this is where it leads on from this championship here, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ronan, as you mentioned, he's had a stunning season. It's very, very interesting, this championship. It always is, of course. But I also think, of course, the Mini Cooper S Cup, as we mentioned earlier as well. That it's the reason they're having to do these two formation laps is to get the heat into those tyres, and those tyres, of course, are slick. So they have to really generate as much heat as possible, get the temperatures up so that they can get away cleanly at the start and then kind of grow and develop the race from there. But it is very, very important that your start procedure is as good as it can be, and we're just seeing a little bit of a gap there developing between the two Mini Cooper S Cup cars at the front of the pack, and then now we begin to see the Mini Cooper Cup cars come through. So when you're at the front of the pack, you almost kind of want to back them up a little bit so that you can really try and retain as much temperature as possible in those tyres so that those cars can get away cleanly.
Yeah, because at the front of the field there, you can see the top two cars there, Jamie Blake and Andrew Lamont. They're going to be waiting for at least 25-30 seconds at the front of the grids, and it might not be as dramatic a drop-off in the likes of, high-end sports like F1 that viewers might be more familiar with, but certainly in saloon car racing, you still want to have every little ounce of advantage that you can possibly have, because that's ultimately what it all boils down to. Again, from personal experience with the little city cars as well, the efforts people would go to try and get one up over other drivers is absolutely incredible. But the cars all onto the grid. A great job by our marshalling team here. A huge thank you to the marshals and to the stewards who are making today possible. But it looks like we have got all of the cars onto the grid. A very, very important race about to get underway then. The Mini Cooper Cup is, as we said, on a knife edge, balanced precariously, and in association with Project 21 Detailing, supported by Yokohama tyres. The lights are on. We get ready for race 2 of 3. The R53s get going. So does the Mini Cooper Cup, and it looks like a great start for Michael Weddle. Also up the inside, Chad Little trying to get involved there as well. The car's going to be coming over Duffus Dip for the first time. The R53s go through. That's a great start by Chad Little, side by side coming down the hill with Michael Weddle. So let's see how they are all going to go through, and that is surely going to be on the inside side there for Chad Little there, Andy.
Yeah, it certainly is, but I have to say that's a stunning start from Andrew Lamont there. But look at that there, Michael Weddle now, he's just looking to make moves there. We've got Chad, I believe that is Chad Little at the front there. He's been a stunning start. He'll be more than happy with that, but also the change in the lead here at the front in the Mini Cooper S Cup as well, because Andrew Lamont, that's a couple of tenths of a second in my book that he's got over Jamie Blake at the moment. So the two Mini Cooper S Cup cars really setting off into the distance, but look at that, very, very interesting action now beginning to develop in the Mini Cooper Cup class, because it's a very narrow inside line there by the 25 of Chad Little. That just covers off any threat from Michael Weddle, and lots of cars looking to get involved in the action behind as well. Yeah,
this is going to be a battle of attrition then as we cross the line for the first time. Fasken side by side for the R53s. Andrew Lamont side by side with Jamie Blake as they come over at the crest of the hill for the second time of asking. But again, contact, and that's side by side into the gravel trap. Almost a little bit of a lift there from Andrew Lamont. He keeps the car going, keeps it on the grass there. A little bit of damage to the bumper. That's going to be able to get clipped back on there, but that was almost certainly as a result of being side by side, Andy, coming down into Duffus. 2-1 quite often doesn't go there. He'll get going again and pick things up, but now he's got to try and navigate through a whole field of Mini Cooper Cup cars. However, here's the thing, this is going to be a very long drawn out affair here with Chad Little and Michael Weddle. They're fighting for what looks like 4th and 5th position right now, because Neil Ho's up into to 3rd right now. And second place. So it's going to be Neil Ho's actually up there. And who is that up in the second in there? Is that Christopher Watt actually?
Yeah, that'll be Christopher Watt in the Mini Cooper S Cup category. So it's we've got Neil Hose, Chad Little, Michael Weddle, Jack Irvin, then Daniel Patterson, who we mentioned earlier. I think that's him just coming into shot there, in fact. No, it's not, beg your pardon. But there's Weddle there, car number 1 with the orange stripe on it, just behind Chad Little in the 25. The two championship protagonists here making their way through the chicane now and towards Clark Corner. And I think this is, there's a few more bollards making their way out off the curb there. There's one more for good measure, and that just clears the line, Dave, for the rest of the cars.
Absolutely senseless. What have those floppy bollards ever done? I tell you what, Michael Weddle, I think, is, as much as he wants to try and get past Chad Little right now, he's under real pressure from Jack Irvin. Jack Irvin on a charge right now, and in fact there goes Jack Irvin late onto the brakes into the final corner there. He's got the move done. Weddle's going to try and get the cut back, but that is massively cost your championship leader. And have a look at number 5 then of Andrew Lamont. He is going to try and get past this lot as well. Of course, he's not really going to be charging too hard because he's an R53, so he can blitz by them before they even blink an eyelid there. But either way, that is not the start that Michael Weddle wants to have on this race with 9 laps left to go here.
Yeah, and it's an interesting element that's thrown into the mix here, because there's your leader in the Mini Cooper Cup, the 25 of the second place of Chad Little, and he's now got the Mini Cooper S Cup car behind him, so that is going to just spread out the field a little bit here. So this isn't good news for Michael Weddle. He really wants to try and get a move on here, but we've got the number 5 trying to make its way through the field. As we just saw the yellow and red striped flag there, Dave, so that means the track surface is a little bit greasy at one area, and then the drivers are just going to have to be wary of that.
Yeah, and I wonder if that means that the rain is starting to fall down now. It could be that the surface is starting to change. It's certainly looking a little bit darker here at Knockhill, and if anything, Michael Weddle now coming under pressure from that car behind him. That's the number 18. That's the car that you were praising through race 1 of Daniel Patterson. As we can see, up through the order then goes Andrew Lamont, and Neil Ho's still in the lead of this race. Hasn't really had anybody to challenge him right now. Chad Little will be grinning from ear to ear. This is exactly the race 2 that he wanted after that first race.
Yeah, very much so. And Andrew Lamont now just charging off into the distance. That settles down the Mini Cooper Cup category, led by that man there in the 111, Neil Hose. So he's got a 1.5 second gap as well between him and Chad Little. And then Jack Irvin with a great move, it must be said, going into the hairpin to take 3rd place in that Mini Cooper Cup at the moment. But yeah, I think Neil Hose will be feeling like he's in a bit of strong position here, I have to say. Just a little bit of a gap between him and the chasing pack. And those 4 cars as well, Dave, are now beginning to scrap. That's letting Chad Little really, he's got to really focus here, because it's a very, very interesting scenario that's presented itself.
Now I've noticed the same thing that we noticed in race 1 is happening again with Chad Little in race 2. the performance of that car is dropping off massively as these laps go on, because he is getting caught hand over fist here by Jack Irvine right now, the pace that he should have, because they are fighting, but Jack Irvine really able to hold on to that. And if Jack Irvine starts making a fight of this could be a really, really bad thing for Chad Little, that he is pushing as much as he possibly can. But more importantly, Michael Weddle still falling behind, still getting into the clutches of Dan Patterson. So as it stands right now for Chad Little, he'll just be wanting to keep as many cars in between him and Michael as he possibly can.
Yeah, and Jack Irvine's really putting in the fast laps as well, has to be said. His last time out there was his best so far with a 102.6. That is a good couple of tenths quicker than those around him. Neil Hose, however, setting the pace with a 102.5. But yeah, it's one where, you know, Neil Hose has got to clear traffic here. He can really focus on just kind of getting as much speed as he can out of that package. Michael Weddle's got a bit of a dilemma here, because he's got Daniel Patterson, who's having a very strong meeting here, putting him under all sorts of pressure. But Jack Irvine really making that move has made things more difficult. I believe you could just see the hand there, left hand from Michael Weddle pointing forward. He wants to work together with Daniel Patterson to try and close that gap, but whether Daniel complies or not remains to be seen.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, because that's a very bold command from a racing driver there, as I would imagine that Dan Patterson is going to be more concerned with wanting to try and get past that car that's right in front of him. But 6 laps left to go in this race. It's still Jamie Blake ahead of Christopher Watt for the R53s right now. Andrew Lamont in 3rd place and catching very, very rapidly. Don't be surprised to see Andrew Lamont moving up into that 3rd position. You can see the jackets up, the hoods are up here at Knockhill, and if anything, now look at that, that's going to be Jack Irvine right onto the back bumper here of Chad Little. Surely it's going to be a dive out to the inside, into the braking zone, into the hairpin here. He thinks about it, this is where he did it last time. Here we go, late on the brakes there. Chad Little even later on the brakes somehow keeps that position, but Jack Irvine gets a good exit from that corner. But you get the feeling that this is going to be a case of when, not if. However, also Dan Patterson right onto the boot lid of Michael Weddle now.
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting situation we've got now developing with 5 laps to go in this race. Weddle needs Irvine and Little to start scrapping here to really try and make the pass, because look at that gap between the pair of them. If Dan Patterson just bides his time here and does indeed work together, both of them could really come into podium contention here. But crucially, the two of those drivers have got to work together to close that gap. And Jack Irvine really, if he starts making a move here, that allows those 2 cars into this. So the next couple of laps in this race are going to be absolutely crucial.
Yeah, and the weather looks like it is closing in. That dark cloud getting even darker above the skies here. But have a look at this now, closer than ever before. Jack Irvine right onto the bootlet of Chad Little here. We've got just 4 laps left to go. Surely it's going to be a move up the inside. Thinks about it. Late on the brakes again from the pair of them, but not this time by. So Jack Irvine, I think, maybe just waiting to go on potentially 2 or 1 lap left to go here, or maybe, just maybe, deciding to have a hand in this championship battle. I can't see that one happening, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. 4 laps left to go with Jamie Blake and Andrew Lamont coming across the line. Remember, of course, that the R53s are going to artificially take that lap counter down faster than the Mini Coopers, so it could be a case of we've got a couple more laps left to go when that eventually does tick down. But there you go, you see Chad Little there coming up through the chicane there, the left and then the right. Jack Irvine looking so very dangerous right behind him again. But again, just like you were saying, you see how much Michael Weddle is dropping off from that order.
Yeah, Jack Irvine's had a very impressive race too here, it must be said. He's got a very good drive out of Clark there as well, I have to say. I think he's just slightly too far back to throw the car up the inside into the hairpin. But if he can get that car slowed down quickly and maybe potentially get the run, get the momentum coming out of the hairpin, then he's maybe got every chance of making a move here, because again, that gap now just getting a little bit closer. Let's see the drive there that we get from the 65 car, and let's see if he can potentially make a P2 here. We see the 111 car of Neil Hose. He's in the lead of the race. He's got a couple of seconds into the bargain as well, but this is where things could just begin to develop, Dave.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait with bated breath. 3 laps left to go then over the crest of the hill, down through Duffus Dip, down into McIntyre's goes Chad Little. Of course, this is the battle for P2 and 3 in the class, because Christopher Watt has pulled into pit lane, so he'll fall further down the order once these two are done, as Michael Weddle's starting to get a little bit of a gap there over Dan Patterson, so there's a little bit of daylight in between there. Meanwhile, there is Neil Hose, there is Chad Little, and there is Jack Irvine bouncing over the hill here. And if anything, watching how keen Jack Irvine was to get past Michael Weddle, I'm not seeing the same sense of urgency here to get past Chad Little right now. It looks like he's, at least for this lap here, happy to sit behind.
Yeah, I think, and that's a crucial point there, David. For this lap, I think he might try and do it towards the end of the race here. We reckon 2 laps to go in this one, so you know, Jack can maybe just bide his time here and then make the move in the last lap, and then just take the defensive line round the track and try and hold on to it. But if you're Michael Weddle, you want Jack Irvine to make this move for the championship. You know, as things stand, there's going to be a bigger gap between the pair of them, goes without saying. So Jack Irvine, if he makes a move here, that works out in Michael Weddle's benefit, because there is quite a significant gap now between Weddle and Irvine.
Looks like that's going to be the number 19 retiring from the race then. So that is our third of 3 R53s, and that's Christopher Watt pulling out. I could just see him going behind us here. And again, as much as Chad Little coming under pressure from Jack Irvine here, it's not, again, looking like a move. As we go on to our last lap then, Jamie Blake for the R53s has gone across the line. We're just on the last lap for the Mini Cooper Cup just now, so the R53s will be coming into, I would imagine, into our Clark corner, possibly towards the hairpin very, very shortly, such as the pace difference here. And there is Neil Hose. But, well, this massively, I've got to be honest, Andy, turns the championship completely on its head going into the final race. If ever you wanted to buy stocks and shares and popcorn, now would possibly be the time.
Well, this is it. I mean, the big question is does Jack Irvine make the move here? But there is the Mini Cooper S Cup cars making their way across the start-finish line.
Yeah, there we go then. Jamie Blake taking the race win for the R53s ahead of Andrew Lamont. Right. Let's wait with bated breath, because Chad Little has got Jack Irvine right behind him. Here comes Neil Hose. That's going to be a guaranteed race win for him. 2 out of 2 so far. Out to the outside. Great move there. Great defensive work from Chad Little. Blocked off that car there. Masterful defence there. It's going to be a race win for Neil Hose. Chad Little in second place. Jack Irvine in third. And Michael Weddle, your championship leader, or was championship leader, down in 5th position, or so, yes, 5th position in class, or 4th position rather in class. So good luck, Andy, trying to work all that one out with your slide rule and your algebra and your toes and your fingers, because I'm just going to leave that one to race control to send that one through. But another win there from Neil Hose, and I think that's the rain starting to come down here.
Yeah, it's a very impressive drive from Neil Hose. That's 2 for 2 here at this race meeting. Very, very strong performance. You know, he built up the gap very early on in that race, and that just allowed him really to focus on the clear track ahead of him. So, a very strong performance from the 111 car. Credits to Chad Little for a strong defence there, because Jack Irvine was doing everything he possibly could to try and take second place, but he will have to settle for third. But a very interesting finale awaits us in the Mini Cooper Cup.
Well, while I go and get Excel on the go and try and do all the permutations and still likely get it wrong anyway, Andy Alston is away to go out and have a chat with our R53s and with our Mini Cooper Cup winners from that race then. A huge thank you to Project 21 Detailing for supporting the championship, which is of course in association with them, and the championship supported by Yokohama Tyres as well. Great result there, and a great Mini Cooper Cup race. Up next then is going to be the second race of 3 for the Scottish Legends Cars Championship. They're back for their second outing with us today. And then after that is going to be the Scottish C1 Cup. So real action we've got coming up for you all through the afternoon. A very good afternoon if you have just joined us. Welcome back to the SMRC YouTube channel. As the cars make their way round into the holding area. Andy Alston, I can see, is kind of trying hard not to get blown away by the wind here. He's having to hold on as we have a little look.
Yeah, that was a race full of drama, Dave, and Jamie Blake taking the win in the Mini Cooper Ace Cup, but Neil Hose in the Triple One taking the checkered flag in our Mini Cooper Cup. So very, very interesting results throughout here. Of course, Jack Irvine had a very strong third place finish, but it was Chad Little taking second place. So let's grab a quick word with a couple of the drivers here, get their thoughts on how that one unfolded. I think it's just one where, Dave, you know, this is it. We've got one more race in the Mini Cooper Cup and it's still very much all to play for. So very, very interesting to see how things unfold. There's celebrations here for Jamie Blake in the Mini Cooper S Cup. He is absolutely delighted with his campaign, congratulated by his Minimax Motorsport team, and he will be delighted with that achievement. So well done to Jamie Blake. Let's grab a quick chat with our race winner in the Mini Cooper Cup, Neil Hose, who makes it 2 wins from 2, and he will be delighted with that performance. Neil, many congratulations. That was a great drive out there from you.
Yeah, just try not to make any mistakes, because I know that can cost, let them catch up, and then it becomes a lot harder work. So it's all about the start. Got a good start, and then just try and keep a steady pace and bring it home. So yeah, happy with that. It's a shame I've had that kind of pace all year. We should have had loads of these, but it's had really bad luck. So it's finally good that without bad luck on my side, they're getting the results that we should have had. But it's the way it goes. It's motorsport.
That's it, but it gives you the confidence that you can take that momentum into next season as well.
Absolutely, it's always good to end the season on a high, especially when you've got 4 or 5 months of doing nothing. Can I just give a big shout out to Glasgow Independent BMW and Mini Specialists? They're my main sponsor. They're great guys, and Happy Dog Pet Food and Dent Centre. Get them on telly.
Great stuff, Neil. Many congratulations. Neil Hose making it 2 wins for 2 in the Mini Cooper Cup. We'll grab a quick chat with Chad Little, who took second place in that race. Chad, great performance from you and an important result as well in the championship.
Yeah, could have done with a win really after disappointing race 1. Led nearly all of it and give it away towards the end. But no, it's good points. It's still a chance going into the last race, so see what happens.
So what's the approach just going to be? Full commitment going into the finale, really?
Yeah, all or nothing now, isn't it? See what happens.